It started in a very small way. We had our first course down in Wicklow, and it was a great success. It was a very great thing for the young people because they'd never sort of played music like that before.
Now remember very softly, 1, 2, 3. No, that's much too loud. Really delicate, delicate. Schubert, not Brahms. 1, 2, 3. Don't get slow.
To be away on a residential music course for a week or something of that period had never happened before. I mean, I'd never taken part in anything like that in this country. So it was new, and it was a great spin-off. It was a great spin-off of activity, even though the music part of it wasn't terribly exciting. The finished product certainly wasn't very exciting.
When we started in 1970, we had an orchestra of 65. This year, our orchestra number is 140. And we have had a waiting list for the last year and a half. The idea of a youth orchestra for Ireland occurred a long time ago, way back about 1964, possibly was accelerated by the visit of the National Youth Orchestra of Great Britain to Ireland. And we had to wait a little while till we got ourselves organised and thought of a conductor. And I felt I had one of my few inspirations in life when I thought of Hugh Maguire one night. He was really an obvious person to come and conduct an Irish Youth Orchestra. Wonderful musician and a violinist.
Olive suggested that we might try and do something of that sort over here, and she asked me whether I was interested. Of course, I was mad keen to do it, and that was how it started.
So we got busy then. I had a young group of people from a couple of the colleges of music who used to meet on Sunday mornings and have a little orchestra of their own without anybody conducting or anything like that. And they got together with me and we formed ourselves into a sort of committee. And from there we went on. It has really spread through Ireland, except just up the western seaboard. I suppose we haven't got very many people yet. We have 50 about from Dublin and Cork and Limerick, and 4 counties in the north of Ireland make up another 50. And the remaining, roughly 40, come from about another 9 counties in Ireland.
At the moment, the trouble is trying to keep people out because there has been a tremendous upsurge of interest as a result of the activities during these last 10 years. I think that it is the most important single thing that has happened in Irish musical life.
We hold these courses in schools because it is so suitable. There's dormitory accommodation for both boys and girls in Wesley, and they look after all the catering for us, and all we have to do is look after them, the musical end of it, and go to our meals when they're ready.
Now, the choice of music, of course, is of paramount importance when you're dealing with young people in this sort of situation. Because the orchestra is big now, and if you have, say, 20 brass players in an orchestra, you've got to find some music which will keep them occupied for a week. You've got to find music that keeps the whole crowd, the whole 150 or whatever it is, occupied for a week. So that limits us, curiously enough. You would think that we could do any music we wished because we have such vast forces, but on the other hand, we can't really do Mozart symphonies, which is the thing I would love to do most of all. We can't do those because there would be too many redundant bodies. So I have to choose music which is of its own nature is inclined to be rather sort of loud and brilliant, and it's sort of Berlioz, Tchaikovsky, Rachmaninoff. This is, of course, is the stuff that the young people love, this great romantic music. They enjoy that very much. But we generally do find very good programs of music, and I give it a great deal of thought. And we have done some very adventurous things. We played the Bartok Concerto for Orchestra a long time ago, maybe as much as 6 or 7 years ago. We've done other 20th century music, and we have done vast pieces like Ein Heldenleben of Strauss. And this, Scheherazade is a big piece, of course, too. And I hope that we will do Bruckner symphonies and Mahler symphonies, and one of these days we shall tackle the Rite of Spring, no doubt, of Stravinsky. All these things are possible. And we might even venture into the aleatoric music very soon now, because I'm sure the young people would like to do that. But it takes a little bit of organizing to do that.
So I want 1 viola, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 and a half, 10 and a half. That's violas, yeah, that's second fiddle then.
Then when we have decided what sort of music we're going to play, I have to decide what sort of tutors, how many tutors we mean. For example, if there's a lot of harp music to be got through, then we would certainly need help. But mostly we have a tutor for each section of the orchestra. We have an oboe tutor, flute tutor, horn tutor, and I take the violins. And 1. More bow. Here, more bow. More bow. Take your time. That's right. Now you must take your time. Down, ram, bam, ba. Now it's not really too difficult, is it? So watch me a bit. 1. Pizzicato, 3, arco. Yeah, okay. Yeah, you really need to do this in the second position, not in the first position. Is that right? I'll have to try that with the fiddle again. Would you try it anyway? Let's do it a bit slower. Just that bar with the B's. 1, 2. Yeah. You understand the problem. The problem is getting from the top down into the down onto the F natural. 1, 2, 3. 3. 2, 3, 1, 2. 3, 1, 2. Yeah. Yeah, that's easy. So we won't go on to that for a moment.
1, 2, 2, 2. That one, the stand. So you're looking this way, we're getting further behind all the time. Can we start from ta, pa, ta, 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 ti? Let them run forward. Let them run, you're not going too quick. Start from allegro non troppo. Fine trombones now. 1, 2.
I think we could improve on the passage at the end of the second movement, letter Q. We'll try that one, please. I'll give you a bar for nothing. 1, 2, 3. I think we can even make it better than that. Let's try again. Bar for nothing. 1, 2, 3.
The actual organisation of the orchestra is done with the help of tutors. And the usual thing is that on the first night, after they've assembled, they have a full rehearsal straight through with Hugh Maguire. And they just sort of, as you might say, bash through the thing and get to know what it's all about and see what is in front of them. Then on the next day, they divide up into groups, each section of the orchestra under its own tutor. And all these tutors are, as a rule, members of either the symphony orchestra or the concert orchestra, and are the first-class people in their own particular rank in Dublin, and sometimes from the other side of the water as well.
1, 2, 3, 1. No, that sounds nice, yes. Now I think we go on to the next movement because we have a bit of cor anglais. I think we let you play straight away your little cor anglais solo. Like that. I think we play again letter N. Mind. 1, 2, 3. 4, 5, 6. 4, 5.
very good. Can we try the last bar on the second line on page 11? The ricochet boy. Ba-ka-da-ba, ba-ka-da-ba, ba-ka-da-bum, ba-ka-da-bum. Right? Can we have just the top line by themselves? People playing the top line from the E, D sharp, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 1. Yeah, some people are getting the ricochet quite good. Tighten your bows a little bit more, and we'll try it a little faster, maybe. Yes, the same place again, without the second half, the second lot. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1. Back at the back. That's better. Back.
1, 2. One, 2, 3. 2, 3, 4. 2. Okay, yes. Do you see 4 before I? There's a printed piano, and then it crescendos into I, and then at I it's subito piano again. But make sure it's forte, the bar before I. Okay, let's do again. 4 bars before I. I give you 1 bar for nothing. 1, 2.
Right, we play this tune. 1 bar for nothing. 1, 2, 3, 1. You've got to think of really being confident and loving every note of it, and you've got to get it so that you don't worry about which finger you're doing or what. Just beautiful, rich sound. Think of Russian language, the rich sound. Well, the cello is very rich, so this quality of richness in the loud parts, big vibrato, that you really love this sound, extrovert. 1, 2, 3, 4.
Having done these sectional rehearsals and learnt all the snags and got over all the snags, hopefully, they do a full rehearsal each evening. And then finally, after 2 days, Hugh takes over entirely and brings it up to concert standard.
Now a bit more sounds, different colour, juicy, more bow. Now be careful here. Yeah, now, I can't say all that when we're playing a concert. I can't turn around and say juicy to you, but you've got to remember to do it. And not only that, I'm sure I conduct in a different way when I want it very clear and precise. It seems to me that the most important note is the A sharp, where you go down the octave. That's the really espressivo note. Would you reverse the bowing? No, don't write it in, just do it, because then you'll understand what I want. Start up. I hold the auditions generally once a year, but, I'm always prepared to listen to somebody if they're keen enough and telephone me, get in touch with me, I'll listen to them play. Good, no, fine. You must try and make it sound like that. And when we stop, the tension continues. You've seen great players when they're playing their violins, you know, they stand there and for several seconds there's no sound, no nothing, just the atmosphere as well. It's really very important, so don't down tools immediately. Each time you hear the fiddle solo, you've got to create an air of expectancy somehow, also with the harp. Now, this is a new story, so we're all sitting quietly. When you're ready, we'll begin. You know, that sort of thing. It must have this air of what is this story going to be? And the harps must help to create that. You've got to be very quiet and still and listen to this lovely thing that's going to be told to us. So can we do it just once again? Eh? An audition for the IYO is the simplest thing in the world. I mean, it's over really in 2 minutes. I can tell very quickly whether the person has got promise. It doesn't matter how badly or how well they play. That's not so important. But you can size up a person very quickly, really, before they play their instruments, just by their general attitude. Very good. Don't worry about little flaws. They're nice. You can see the concentration and the approach, and you can tell that there's potential and possibilities of something in that person. Now, light. Very gay. Young people always seem to be terribly happy on the course, no matter what we do. There's great spirit and there's great bonhomie and camaraderie, and they dance around that. They are having discos and having parties, especially at the end of the year like this. Social activities are of enormous importance, and we always have a tuck shop, and you know, it's great fun. The whole thing is fun. The whole idea of making music has always been, for me, fun. I think that's the most important thing. I wouldn't do it if I didn't have great fun with it, and I didn't love it very much. And that, of course, is the thing that I'm trying to instill into the young people now, is the great love of music, the satisfaction you get from it, and what a wonderful life a musician can have if they are devoted to their art. And these young people have gone into Europe. They've seen these young Sicilian and Roman and German violinists or trombone players or whatever they were, and they've suddenly realized that they've got something to measure up to, and they measure up very well. And there's a wonderful feedback from satisfied young people. Not only did they do the things that I was interested in them doing, like playing the music that we had chosen, but the young people got to know each other, and you know, they discovered that there were such things as string quartets and string trios and little brass groups, and they got together and they made their own music.
In 1974, we did an exchange with a school orchestra in Mönchengladbach. Actually, they came to us, I think, in 73. We went back to them in 1974. Now, this trip was made possible because it was an exchange, for one thing, and the other thing was that the Cultural Relations Committee gave us quite a substantial grant towards our fairs out there. We gave 3 concerts over there in Germany and had a most enjoyable time. The children all stayed in private houses. And then the next excitement, I think, probably the greatest one, was last year when we went to the International Festival of Youth Orchestras held in Aberdeen. This has been going for the last, 15, 20 years, I suppose. And this was a very expensive business because we had to pay for all the students. We were there for 10 days and a certain amount of staff. But by this time, Toyota were assisting us, and they made our stay in Aberdeen possible with a very substantial grant. And the Cultural Relations Committee came in again and gave us half our charter flight to Aberdeen, and the children paid the other half of that. We had a wonderful time in Aberdeen, I think. The orchestra was conducted for the first item, which was the Berlioz Carnival Roman, by the very famous conductor Rudi Schwarz. And he was very appreciative of the orchestra. He had been scheduled to give us 2 rehearsals, to take 2 rehearsals. He took the first rehearsal. He didn't say an awful lot then, but I met him later on in the evening and he said to me, I won't need to take that second rehearsal tomorrow afternoon. He said they were so good, would be an embarrass de richesse. And he said, your orchestra makes a lovely sound, but of course, that's Hugh. We put on a little cabaret show one night. All the orchestras did this in turn, and 2 or 3 of our young people from Limerick organised a little traditional program, which was a great bit of fun. Everybody seemed to enjoy it.
And along with them came bouncing Mrs. Cafferty. Little Mickey Mulligan was also to the fore. Rose Susan and Margaret O'Rafferty, the pride of Armagillan and the flower of Petreville. Oh, went the toot on the flute and the treadle on the fiddle, hopping in the middle like a heron on the wheel. Up, down, hands around, cross to the wall. Oh, hadn't be the gaiety, you till the flute and all the tight, light, tight, light, tight, light, 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 light.
As well as the professional staff who look after the musical side of it, the professional tutors, we have an administration staff who look after the running. This is a voluntary staff. I suppose the chief person in this is the orchestra manager, who with his team sets up the orchestra and gets everything ready for it, and indeed often makes quite a lot of the risers and things for the orchestra to be on. Then we have the house staff. We have usually 4 females and 4 males who look after them in the dormitories and in the general running around and help with recreation, let them play basketball in the gym and soccer or something out in the fields and various things according to the time of year, swimming of course in the summer, that sort of thing. That voluntary staff goes in at least the morning of the day that the orchestra is coming in and prepare everything for them and stay the whole time and are responsible for all their various occupations except as orchestra, which is Hugh's concern. The voluntary staff are themselves all ex-members of the youth orchestra who have come back to help.
Oh, you stand up. Oh, great. Thank you very much. You can sit down now. Now, we have been rehearsing for a little bit, and it's not often that we play music that has a particular story to it. You know, music can be without a story, it can be abstract, and it can have a story. And this piece that we're doing, Scheherazade by Rimsky-Korsakov, has a story, rather good story. I'll read what he prefaces at the beginning. At the beginning of the score, Rimsky-Korsakov writes the following. The Sultan, Shahryar was his name, he was convinced of the duplicity and the infidelity of all women, and he vowed to slay each of his wives after the first night. Now, I'm not making this up. This is actually written in Russian. I'm translating it, so it takes a little bit. Well, the Sultana, that's Rita Manning, the leader. Her name is Scheherazade. Now, the story of Scheherazade is a very famous tale in the Arabian Nights. It's the story of the 1001 Nights. And Scheherazade, for 1001 nights, saved her neck, rather, by, she saved her life by the expedient of recounting to the Sultan a succession of tales over the entire period of 1001 nights. Now, for the information of us all, the Sultan himself, the monarch, is represented by the opening figure of the first movement. So perhaps we would play that, the very opening of the first movement. Now, he's a great big fat guy with great mustaches, just Rita's type. A big grease merchant, you know, the sort you like, I know. So you're ready, the opening. Now, it's got to be very large. Now that's the old man, and his beloved Scheherazade is represented by the violin, the solo violin. So whenever you hear the solo violin in this piece, it's always Scheherazade herself. Can you just play it for us, yeah? This is the lady. That's lovely. You see, the whole thing has got this marvelous evocative feel. It's very much Turkish delight. You can see, you can almost smell the atmosphere. Beautiful. tubas are playing here. They're slow, ponderous instruments, and the trombone, so take your time, don't rush. The little instruments must play slower. Try and beat together. I'm going to beat in 4, remember. Very good. And not the harps or the strings, all the wind players. Yeah, listen to the intonation very carefully. I think the top E is a little bit too sharp. In some players, I wouldn't like to say how many out of the 100 of you or so, but you'll try again. Yeah, can I just hear the G sharps, please? All G sharps, clarinets. Yeah, get together. You know, don't let it waver. Amanda, you've got to follow the number 1 somehow. If you think you're out of tune, try and merge into his intonation. Good. Now, Rita, that's beautiful the way you play that. However, in the third bar, if you play, I would suggest that the middle of the bar is not quite so long. Third bar.